David Falk said something the other day about LeBron cherry picking, and they was talking about it this morning, and I'm like, that's interesting to use the term cherry picking when, if we're going to make a fruit basket here, maybe I'll sing you one after I leave for having me on the show.
Thank you, Rich.
But the careers of the LeBron and Michael Jordan, it's not apples and apples for a number of reasons. But the cherry picking terminology of it all, coming from someone who literally had John Thompson, Dean Smith, and Mike Krzyzewski supporting his business, you know, putting superstar athletes in his lap. I think he was part of the Cherry Clan. You know, my dad used to sell that candy back in the day. I just thought that was very unfair and a little beneath David Falk for a number of reasons. And so we can't have revisionist history, and we all want to just determine who's the GOAT and who's the best and so on and so forth. But I just thought that was a little beneath David to say that, and I'll table that there. But,
well, we were going to bring that up, and for those who might not know what Rich is referring to, is a Sports Business Journal quote from the longtime agent of Jordan saying, "I really liked LeBron, but I think if Jordan had cherry picked what teams he wanted to be on and two other superstars, he would have won 15 championships."
And again, when you look at that, right? Again, the cherry pick, I've discussed that. The two other superstars, Michael never had to leave. Michael's never been the underdog in any finals, not one time. Michael never had a 24-hour, 365 news cycle. He never had shows built strictly to criticize him. People made millions of dollars criticizing LeBron James. That was their entire job. And when you talk about the difficulty of it all, Michael played for Dean Smith, Michael played for Phil Jackson, and Michael had Jerry Krause. I'm the biggest Michael Jordan fan ever. I love Michael Jordan. And I don't think Michael Jordan would have used the term cherry pick, so I'm not up here to discredit Michael Jordan. I think Michael Jordan transcended our game to a level that we all benefited from, right? And I'm more so focused on less about who's the GOAT and why I can't be at a dinner with those two guys having a great conversation, or why I can't put, a little bit of the money that I've earned into a fund that those two guys have formulated so we can be a part of the deal flow from the Blackstones and the Apollos and the Andreessen Horowitz and things of that nature. Mm-hmm. And I think that those type of comments is also the reason why people that look like me in my community always think there can only be one king. And it's forever embedded us as the minority in a lot of places, and why it's so uncommon to see a community of successful black men. So I thought that was very, again, beneath David Falk with all the success he's had and all the cherry picking that he's been able to do amongst the three highest level universities there could ever be as it pertains to aligning with the game of basketball. It doesn't get any bigger than Georgetown, North Carolina, and Duke. So he actually has a bag of cherries, So I'll leave that there, though.
Rich Paul here on the Rich Eisen Show. If I may also just follow up on what I think is kind of a subtext of what he's saying as well, that also dovetails into what a lot of media members have said about LeBron's business strategy as a player in this league, is that he runs the team that he's on, that he makes the decisions about roster and he makes decisions about coaches. And I would love to put that in front of you and how you would respond to that.
And that's false. I think that, and I can say that because I'm there.
Right.
And when you think about that and that narrative, people don't think about the impact that has off the court, right? it hurts friendships, guys that play on teams, because they feel like, hey, I may have been traded and it's because you wanted me out of here, right? And I know that is not to be true. There's something to be said when someone come to you and say, hey, what do you think about this guy? You may say, or you may not even want to comment at all. And they come back and they come back and they come back. And you say, you know what, that's what you want to do, go ahead. That's not you making a decision. That's you agreeing with something because, okay, cool, if that's what you guys feel is the best thing to do, do it. I don't own the team. I'm not in the front office. You know, it clearly he don't run the team because there's things that transpired that he didn't even know about. So
like the Luka trade is what you're saying?
Yeah, so how is he running the team? The Westbrook trade, you know, he didn't make that trade, contrary to what people try to put out there. He did not make that trade. And I know that for a fact. So I think those things there's one thing to have power and influence, and there are guys who earn the right for some decisions to be, you know, ran past you, or so for some teams to say, hey, what do you think about this? Or, yeah, that's earned. We've all been in those rooms and that's earned. But there's a fine line because you can also put yourself in a situation where, for example, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is now on the Oklahoma City Thunder. Maybe he should be there, maybe he shouldn't. He's the MVP today, so obviously he should.
Are you referring to when he was a Clipper?
But when he was a Clipper,
and how when Kawhi got there?
Whoever made the decision, I don't know who it was or whatnot, you have to relive that now, right? Because if you're putting it on the player, if you're putting it on the front office, you know, there's so many decisions to be made. And again, we can't confuse someone asking a player for an opinion and that being the decision that's being made. Those are two separate things. And I deal with all of them, players and front offices. Those are two separate things. You make decisions at a front office and you live with the results. That's why you get paid the money that you get paid to be in that position. As a player, I don't think players are in the position to make a specific decision all the time due to the fact that they're not doing the diligence that the front offices are doing to make that decision. Because it's one thing to date somebody, it's another thing to live with them.
I love your sayings, man.
It's true.
Oh, yes, it is. Yeah. Catch the Rich Eisen Show live weekdays from 12 to 3 p.m. Eastern on Roku Sports Channel in the U.S.